Broussard, do the Lakers have to step in here, make sure LeBron and AD don't rush back too soon before they're ready?
Well, first off, I don't think AD will press the envelope. He hasn't really done that throughout his career. I think LeBron might press AD to press the envelope, but AD by himself, I think he's cool. I think, he would chill until he's ready to come back. But LeBron certainly would want to get back early. And to answer the question, though, Jenna, yes, the Lakers have got to wait and hold these guys out until the doctors, until LeBron's personal trainer says, look, they're as close to 100% as they can be. They're ready to go. Antoine said it. The goal is a championship. The goal is not to finish with whatever seed you get in the West. They're 8.5 games ahead of 12th place or 11th place, which would be out of the play-in. As long as they're in the play-in, and I hate to say they could drop to 9th or 10th, but as long as they're in the play-in, wait until those guys get healthy. If they fall to 12th or something, maybe that's another story. But as long as they're in the playoffs, get them healthy. Nick made a great point the other day. No matter where you're at in the West, it's going to be a tough road to hoe. Sure, it's a little tougher if you're in the play-in or if you're the 7th or 8th seed. But if you were the 2nd seed right now, you start with Dallas. Second round, you get the Clippers. I mean, it's not going to be easy either way. So make sure LeBron and AD are 100% or as close as possible before you bring them back, because that's your best shot at winning a championship.
I also think your point about LeBron being the ultimate strategist, he's only suffered one other significant injury ever. He came back way too early from that, said he was going to activate playoff mode early, and that gear wasn't available to him. So coming back early didn't actually help his team because he wasn't himself. I think he knows that. The other thing I think LeBron and the Lakers know is this. No one in the West can beat them if they're healthy. And this was the point I tried to pin Chris Broussard down on a couple days ago, and I just want to revisit it. Like, if the Lakers are healthy in the playoffs, who is the team that they should even a tiny bit fear? The options are Phoenix, who has 2 guys with playoff experience. Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, and I guess Sarge you could include because he played 10 games, and then a bunch of guys who've never been there. Utah, who precisely no one believes in and is all of a sudden, despite last night, starting to flounder a bit. The Clippers, who are worse than they were last year, and last year they weren't good enough. So who's left? Denver and Portland? 2 teams the Lakers beat last year in 5 games?
Oh my
like
goodness.
Broussard, who do you think in the West the Lakers are worried about?
I mean, my pick is the Lakers if they're healthy in the West, but I don't think they can just scoff at the Clippers. The Clippers in the bubble last year, and you know this, Nick, they didn't want to be there, and that was a problem. Now, I agree that their defense is not where it should be. They need a playmaker like a Kyle Lowry at the end of games to help them out. But to think that the Lakers are just going to walk over them and not be worried at all about them, what's AD going to be like? Remember, AD was healthy, presumably, early in the year, and he was only giving us 22 and 8. All right, he wasn't playing at the AD level we expected.
Not
so
enough.
If he comes back and he's that AD, that could be a problem against the Clippers. If he comes back like last year's AD, then they shouldn't, they should beat the Clippers. But that's a question mark. So that's the team they've got to be concerned about, Nick.
So Nick, don't you think when AD hears, let's say he heard Antoine's quote, when a team is struggling and the goal is to win a championship, they might push. Isn't that the story of Durant in the finals and how his Achilles popped? And don't you think that AD, who I know everyone wants to say, they're after a championship right now. They have to win this year. Like, all right, LeBron's window is closing. AD's 28. And there's a lot. And once the word Achilles is uttered while you're laying on the table, I think you get very, very nervous. And just one last thing. John Wall. Remember we saw John Wall when we were like, wow, is John Wall going to come back? Is John Wall going to go to the bubble? And he was doing like 360 dunks, and he said, I'm not coming back. I'm 110%. I'm not playing. It's like, wow, he's not going to play. He's 110%. I don't think anything short of 110%, AD should suit up. I think he should just rest.
I think
it's
that's
too scary
right.
of an injury.
I think that's right, but I think I think you've got to just kind of adjust your mind on it, that he is already doing that. Point being, I think AD probably, if he was trying to push it, would have been back 10 days ago. I think the Lakers are already being super cautious. No matter when he comes back, folks are going to say, did he come back too early? When in reality, maybe he came back 2.5, 3 weeks after the earliest he could have come back. So I don't think they understand the Lakers' time with Anthony Davis. He just signed the longest extension you can sign, goes well past this year and next. They're not going to rush Anthony Davis back. They're just not going to.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.